To become the Wolf King's bride, the little bunny actually schemed to drug and knock him out. But just as she was about to make her move, she never expected the potion to be so intense. She actually kicked the bucket first. When she woke up again, a completely different soul had taken over. Under the effects of the bewitching herb, she ended up bonding with the Wolf King in a complete daze. By the time she finally snapped out of it, she realized she had actually crossed over into the beast world, possessing a female rabbit with her exact name, Yi Qingyan. After absorbing the original host's memories, she couldn't help but curse out loud. The original host was a vicious female beast that everyone absolutely despised. Just to become the Wolf King's bride, she drugged him while he was weak from his tribulation, trying to force a mate contract. But her body was way too weak and couldn't handle the bewitching herb. She died before the deed was even done, and then, Qingyan crossed over and finished the bond herself. Oh no, no, no. This is the Wolf King. If he catches me, he's definitely going to turn me into a spicy rabbit head. I gotta run. To avoid becoming a spicy snack, she frantically shifted back into her true form and bolted out of there. Not long after she fled, the Wolf King finally woke up. The effects of the love potion in his system slowly faded. That little bastard took advantage of me and dared to run away? It's not going to be that easy. A terrifying aura of pressure instantly engulfed the area. Every plant and animal nearby instantly froze into solid ice. Seeing the commotion, his subordinates rushed over in a panic. Their faces went pale. My king, what happened? A female was here last night. Search every inch of this place, and drag her out for me. To think that he, the mighty Wolf King, was actually defiled by a lowly female. He originally wanted his men to execute her on the spot. Remembering the soft, warm feeling in his arms last night, the Wolf King suddenly changed his mind. Once you find her, bring her to me. His men couldn't believe their ears. A female had schemed against their king and crossed his absolute bottom line. Yet the king was letting her off so easily? Just which female had this kind of power? Meanwhile, the very rabbit the Wolf King was obsessing over, Qingyan, stumbled her way back home. The moment she reached her cave, she felt a familiar surge of energy inside her. My wood element powers and my spatial inventory, they actually crossed over with me. She tried to channel her powers, but only felt the faintest trace of nature's energy. It actually reset back to level 1. Well, at least there's plenty of greenery around here. I'll have enough time to slowly get it back. Suddenly, her stomach started growling wildly. Qingyan rubbed her belly, tossing and turning all night. I'm starving to death, but her home was dirt poor. There was only one tiny strip of dried meat. Her eldest brother, Yi Rong, saw his little sister come back. This is the meat uncle hunted yesterday. I'll roast it up for you in a bit. The original host's dad died a long time ago. She had 2 older brothers, one was terribly sickly, and the other was completely comatose. The entire family relied solely on her mother to survive. Luckily, their uncle was the chief of the rabbit tribe, and he often helped them out. But no matter how little food they had, her mom and brothers always let her eat first. They spoiled her rotten. Still, this tiny scrap of meat wasn't nearly enough to fill her up. Remembering the river she saw on her way back, Qingyan suggested taking her brother to go catch some fish beasts. The beasts around here called fish thorn beasts, because they were covered in sharp bones. They tasted terrible and you'd easily choke on them, but to her, fish were an absolute delicacy. They're delicious and nutritious, and the river is so close to our tribe. It's super easy to go there and catch some fish beasts for food. Plus, the fish beasts around here are mostly huge. Looking at the big, plump fish in the river, Qingyan's eyes totally lit up. Even though Yi Rong didn't understand why his little sister wanted to catch these spike beasts, he figured that as long as she was happy, it was fine. Qingyan grabbed her handmade spear and waded into the river to catch them. Her movements were perfectly precise. She nailed one with every single thrust. In just a few moments, she caught 7 or 8 big fish, completely stunning Yi Rong on the riverbank. Since when did my sister get so amazing? He thought. After stringing the fish up with a grass rope, she carried them and headed back. Along the way, she collected plant essence to level up her wood magic. She even got lucky and caught a plump wild pheasant, and picked up a few abandoned eggs. Once they got back, Qingyan taught Yi Rong how to prep the spike beasts. She planned to make them into fish balls. It made them easy to store, and they could also share some with their uncle. Thinking about how weak her family was, She pulled some spices from her spatial pocket and simmered a rich chicken soup. Their mother, Yi Xin, smelled something amazing the second she reached the door. On her hunt today, she had run into some fierce wild beasts. Though she made it back completely unhurt, she didn't catch a single thing. This made Yi Xin feel a deep wave of guilt. She was going to have to let her son and daughter go hungry again. She never expected that Qingyan had actually managed to get food. Looking at the little eggs in the pot, Yi Xin was pretty surprised. Aren't you supposed to eat these raw? Even though they taste awful, they can at least fill your stomach when you're starving. But seeing the peeled, crystal-clear boiled egg, Yi Xin felt like her entire worldview had been turned upside down. Eat it, Qingyan said, peeling an egg and handing it to her mother. Yi Xin was pretty skeptical, but the moment she took a bite, her eyes immediately widened in shock. Were these things always this delicious? Right after, she tasted the boiled fish balls. The savory flavor was so amazing she forgot to swallow for a second. She never expected that the spike beasts they used to despise so much could be this delicious when made into balls and boiled. Qingyan asked her mother to bring some over to their uncle later. Since there were so many spike beasts in the river, her uncle could organize a team to go catch them. Once they learned how to make fish balls, the rabbit tribe would never have to go hungry again. Qingyan was the type to repay kindness. It was all thanks to her uncle's support recently that their family made it through the hardest times. Her mother and older brother completely loved the meal. Qingyan felt that pure, all-natural ingredients were truly the best. A warm smile naturally spread across her face. While she was eating, she suddenly felt a strange, warm flutter in her stomach. She froze for a second, brushing it off as just her imagination, and didn't think much of it. Meanwhile, the Wolf King, Yu Yu, who was just about to go into secluded meditation, suddenly snapped his eyes open. He actually felt an intense bloodline connection. How is this even possible? The only female I've ever touched was that little rabbit from the other night. Did she get pregnant from just one time? Even though he felt the chances were slim, he immediately ordered his men to investigate. They had to track down that female rabbit as fast as possible. At that exact moment, completely full and satisfied, Qingyan was fast asleep on her stone bed. In her drowsy state, she dreamed of an adorable, snow-white little wolf pup. It just looked at her, blinking its big, innocent eyes. Her girlish heart was completely melting. The next morning, Qingyan followed the gathering team into the mountain forest. Not long after heading into the mountains, Qingyan spotted some radishes. Her eyes lit up. Wow, this really is a primitive forest. There's treasure everywhere. He grabbed his bone knife and started digging into the dirt. But to his tribe mates, this behavior was incredibly bizarre. We came out here to gather food. Why are you wasting time digging up weeds? They tried to remind Qingyan of the task at hand. Qingyan knew they just didn't understand the way they saw it. These were just weeds, not food at all. So, after pulling up a giant radish, he explained it to the group. This is a radish, and you can eat it. Everyone was absolutely stunned by the massive vegetable in his hands. There's actually food growing underground? Up until now, all the food they gathered grew on trees. They had never seen anything grow deep in the soil. It completely shattered everything they knew. But they also realized, if there was food hidden under the dirt, then they wouldn't have to desperately search the trees anymore. After all, they had already picked this entire area clean. Going deeper into the forest was not only a long trek, but it was incredibly dangerous. Is this really food? What if it's poisonous? Qingyan completely understood their hesitation. He wiped the dirt off the white radish, used his bone knife to peel the skin, and then just took a massive bite right out of it. With a loud, satisfying crunch, he had to admit, this scrawny body got hungry way too easily. After finishing the whole radish, he barely even took the edge off his hunger. The crowd, however, was in absolute shock and awe. You actually risked your life to test it. If this really is food, then you've just discovered a brand new food source for the tribe. Everyone will be so grateful to you. Qingyan felt a little embarrassed by the sheer reverence in their eyes. He came from the apocalypse, so of course he knew it was just a radish. Knowing it was edible wasn't the heroic sacrifice they thought it was. Afterwards, under Qingyan's direction, every single person on the gathering team dug up a full basket of radishes. They also picked some hawthorn berries. Seeing the hawthorn made Qingyan crave candied fruit skewers, but sadly, there was no sugar around here. Even getting honey would be a nightmare. The bee beastmen in this world were incredibly dangerous. and absolutely no one wanted to mess with them, while everyone else was busy picking the berries. Qingyan wandered around a bit and stumbled upon an unripe chestnut tree. His wood element powers would be perfect for forcing them to ripen. And since the tribe wasn't too far away, he could always sneak back alone later to do it. For now, he decided to leave them be. He really didn't want to expose his powers this early on. Idly poking at the grassy ground with his bone knife, a particular plant suddenly caught his eye. It was actually shepherd's purse. If only I had some flour, I could make shepherd's purse dumplings. Flavor is completely out of this world. But just as Qingyan was happily digging up the greens, he suddenly felt that something was off. It felt like someone was watching him. He quickly scanned his surroundings, but everything seemed perfectly normal. Little did he know, hidden in a blind spot, two wolf beastmen were quietly backing away. Shifeng and Shuile were on the verge of tears, feeling absolutely terrible for their master. To think their handsome, majestic king had actually been tricked by that vicious, universally hated female rabbit. Don't worry, my king. When we found him, he was already so pathetic he was eating grass. It won't be long before he starves to death. Consider your revenge complete, sire. But the moment the words left his mouth, Yu shot them a terrifying, murderous glare, scaring the two of them into dead silence. The king was furious. Had they said something wrong? Yu withdrew his warning glare and looked back down at the intelligence report in his hands. A faint smile crept onto his lips. Yi Qingyan, so that's his name. Thinking back to the scene from that night, and the restless scent of that bloodline, Yu slowly stood up and walked out of the cave. Completely unaware that he was being watched, Qingyan was still happily digging up Shepherd's purse. The gathering team beside him followed his lead. After they finished harvesting the greens, Qingyan spotted some delicious mushrooms next. Qingyan, you really can't eat these. They're poisonous. They'll kill you. Some of our tribe members ate them before, and died right on the spot. After that, gathering them was strictly forbidden. Everyone frantically tried to talk Qingyan out of it, suddenly feeling like the wild greens in their own hands were practically burning their fingers. They had watched him safely eat the white radishes, but who knew if these wild greens were poisonous too? Seeing the genuine concern on everyone's faces, a warm feeling swelled in Qingyan's chest. He patiently explained to them, those gray mushrooms aren't poisonous at all. They're totally safe to eat. It's the brightly colored ones that are toxic and deadly. He went on to teach them exactly how to tell the safe ones apart from the dangerous ones. Seeing that everyone was still hesitant, Qingyan told them they could just wait and see what happens after he eats them tonight. The group couldn't help but feel a pang of guilt. They knew they shouldn't let Qingyan risk his life to test the food, but despite all their warnings, Qingyan just wouldn't listen, and there was no way they were brave enough to try them themselves. So, all they could do was watch helplessly as he gathered pile after pile of mushrooms. That evening at dinner, Yi Xin and Yi Rong scrambled to take the first bites of the mushrooms and greens. They figured if the food was poisoned, they'd take the hit first to keep Qingyan safe. Watching them do this, Qingyan was incredibly deeply moved by the two of them. Big brother, stop fighting over it, I already tasted them a long time ago. They're perfectly safe. The two of them looked a little sheepish. It wasn't that they didn't believe him, they just cared about Qingyan way too much. They were terrified something bad would happen to him. But after they took a few sips, they were instantly won over by the rich, savory mushroom soup. It felt so wonderfully warm and comforting in their bellies. Wow, this is so good. They completely forgot about talking. They just dug in and devoured their bowls. Seeing his mom and brother so full and happy, a bright smile spread across Qingyan's face too. He absolutely loved this cozy feeling of family being together. There was actually plenty of food in the beast world. The tribes just didn't know how to identify it all. Once he started farming his own crops and raising a few chickens and ducks, things were definitely going to change for the better. Late that night, after the rest of the rabbit tribe had fallen asleep, Yi Qingyan quietly slipped out of bed and shifted into his rabbit form. He sprinted back to the woods from earlier that day and tracked down those chestnut trees. Using his plant magic, he forced the chestnuts to ripen, then grabbed a long pole to knock them down. But doing it this way was dragging on too long. Plus, having just drained his magic, he was completely exhausted. He pushed through for a bit, but soon found himself gasping for breath. If only a strong gust of wind would just blow them all down, Qingyan muttered under his breath. He went back to whacking the branches. But right at that moment, a massive gust of wind suddenly swept through the trees, sending all the chestnuts tumbling to the ground. And the craziest part? They missed him completely. No way. They actually all blew down? Thrilled, he started scooping up the chestnuts and tossing them into his spatial storage. But as he kept picking them up, he suddenly got the creeping feeling that something wasn't quite right. He slowly lifted his head, and there, standing not too far away, was a breathtakingly handsome man bathed in the moonlight. Just one glance was enough to make a person's heart tremble in pure awe. Gasping for air, Yi Qingyan completely froze. She thought she was hallucinating, but as she took in that breathtakingly handsome face, all the memories she tried so hard to bury came rushing back. Wait, isn't that Yu, the Wolf King from that night? Oh my god, did he track me down for revenge? Is he going to rip me to shreds? She couldn't read the look in his eyes, nor could she tell if he was out for blood. She desperately wanted to explain herself, but when she opened her mouth, no words came out. Pure instinct took over, and she instantly shifted back into her fluffy rabbit form and dashed away in a flash. She ran for her absolute life, using every single ounce of strength she had, zipping all the way back home like a blur. Once she was finally safely inside, she made absolutely sure she wasn't followed. Only then did she let out a long sigh of relief. Lying on her stone bed, she tossed and turned, completely unable to sleep. She just couldn't figure out Yuyu's intentions at all. What exactly was he playing at? Was he going to make me pay? Or just kill me on the spot? Meanwhile, Yuyu stood silently, gazing in the direction she had fled. Right when she transformed, he had clearly sensed the unmistakable scent of his own bloodline. There was no doubt about it. Yi Qingyan was definitely carrying his child. The moment this realization hit him, an incredibly tender smile played at the corners of his mouth. Does the little bunny like these? He murmured, looking down at the chestnuts scattered on the ground as a gentle breeze blew past. Early the next morning, Qingyan was woken up by the chatter of her mom and older brother. She was about to ignore them and go back to sleep, until she overheard something important. Mom, did you ask someone to gather all these spiky nuts? No, I didn't. Didn't you kids forage these yesterday? Qingyan's eyes snapped wide open. She scrambled out of bed and rushed straight to the cave entrance. Sure enough, there was a massive pile of chestnuts on the ground. And the craziest part? They were all perfectly shelled. She wouldn't have to deal with those awful spikes at all. No freaking way. Instead of being thrilled, she looked around on high alert, even tapping into her wood element powers to scan the area. But she couldn't detect a single thing out of the ordinary. She couldn't help but think of Yu from last night. Where did you get these, sweetie? Oh, I couldn't sleep last night, so I just went out and gathered some. We can stash them away for winter food. Well, next time you want something, just tell Mom. Never go into the woods all by yourself, it's dangerous. Got it, Mom. Qingyan brushed it off casually. It's not like she was planning on leaving the house anytime soon anyway. Who knows, that Wolf King Yu might still be out there lurking. He could literally squash her with a single finger. Word on the street was that he had reached Tier 9 strength. Absolutely no one stood a chance against him. For the next few days, she completely holed up in the house, refusing to step a single foot outside. Just to make absolutely sure she wouldn't bump into Yu again. Honestly, she felt incredibly guilty. Sure, it was the original owner of this body who drugged him, but she was the one who actually slept with him. Over the past few days, her mom and older brother had been bringing home massive hauls of food. Qingyan was whipping up all kinds of tasty new dishes. But that's when she started noticing something weird. Her appetite was absolutely skyrocketing. Even though she tried her hardest to hold back, she ended up devouring most of the food in the house anyway. Her mom was actually planning to salt and cure all of that food to survive the winter. But she wiped the plates totally clean. Surprisingly, her mom and brother weren't mad at all. Instead, they just looked at her with warm, fond smiles, as if to say, a big appetite is a total blessing. Qingyan thought about it for a moment. Just sitting around at home eating through her supplies wasn't a good idea. Besides, nothing unusual had happened over the past few days. Running into Yu that day must have been a pure coincidence. It was time to head out for a walk and gather more food to prepare for winter. The very next day, she joined the foraging team and set off. But unlike before, this time, everyone treated Qingyan as their leader. Whatever she said was edible, they gathered. Without a single moment of hesitation, they picked plenty of mushrooms and wood ear fungi along the way. While everyone was busy working, Qingyan wandered around a bit, and her little stroll really led her to something amazing. It was actually sweet potatoes. Qingyan's eyes immediately lit up. With sweet potatoes, they could make sugar, and even sweet potato starch. Qingyan thought about all the delicious food she could make. Digging up the sweet potatoes went quickly, and she stored a whole bunch in her spatial inventory. After that, she called out to the group, "Hey, everyone. Come over here, quick. I found something amazing." She thought to herself that later, she would have everyone save some of the sweet potatoes as seeds. That way, by next spring, they could clear out a patch of land near the tribe for planting. But honestly, this massive field of sweet potatoes up on the mountain was already more than enough to feed the entire tribe. Hearing Qingyan's voice, everyone quickly dropped what they were doing and ran over. "Sister Qingyan, we're here." By now, their baskets were already stuffed with wood ear mushrooms. But when they saw the sweet potatoes, they all froze in surprise. "Qingyan, you are incredible. Did you dig up more food from the ground again? These are as big as radishes, but they look a little different. Can we just eat them raw like radishes too?" Seeing Qingyan digging them up, they figured it must be food. If these were edible too, that would be absolutely fantastic. Everyone was buzzing with pure excitement and joy. Thanks to Qingyan over the past few days, the tribe had finally gathered enough food to survive the winter. These are called sweet potatoes, and they taste way better than radishes. You can take them back and either steam or roast them. Whoa! Hearing that, the crowd immediately started digging, and it didn't take long for them to fill basket after basket. You could definitely say the foraging team hit the jackpot this time. Even though their baskets were incredibly heavy, everyone was humming happy little tunes, their footsteps light and bouncy. On the way back, they casually chatted about everything going on lately. "Hey, I heard some genius from the cat tribe just had a major breakthrough. The whole tribe is gathering a massive ton of food for him. No wonder we've barely been able to hunt down any prey lately. Turns out the cat tribe snatched them all up. The entire rabbit tribe hasn't been able to catch much food at all." Hearing this, Qingyan looked totally confused. The whole rabbit tribe hadn't been able to hunt much food, but her mom and uncle were bringing in a ton of wild game every single day. It was not only enough to feed their whole family, but they even had leftovers to cure for later. She even heard her mom say that those beasts were basically delivering themselves right to their doorstep. Thinking back to the chestnuts sitting in the yard when she woke up that one morning, Qingyan suddenly realized something. A shiver ran down her spine. No way. How could it possibly be him? I'd be lucky if that guy just didn't come after me for revenge. There is absolutely no way he would step in to help my family. Suddenly, a strange noise caught her ear. Qingyan made a quick hand signal, and everyone instantly fell dead silent. They quickly transformed back into their true animal forms and scrambled to hide inside the nearby caves. After a short while, two male beastmen from the cat tribe passed right by. "Humph, I swear I just heard something moving around here. Then why isn't there anything here? Maybe we just got here too late. They got off way too easy. If only we could have caught a few rabbit beasts. That would have been a huge merit. Hey, whatever. Our warriors are already hunting down the rabbit chief anyway. Soon enough, the whole rabbit clan will be completely at our mercy." Hearing this, everyone's faces instantly fell. The chief was in grave danger. They had to hurry back and sound the alarm. A glint of absolute madness flashed in Qingyan's eyes. She immediately forced herself to absorb the surrounding spiritual energy to boost her power, flashing behind one of the cat beasts at blinding speed. With a swift slash of her ancient blade, she struck him down. The dying cat beast's eyes went wide, utterly in shock that he was actually taken out just like that. The other cat beast snapped out of his daze, and lunged fiercely right at Qingyan. Having just forced a surge in her power, her body was screaming in pain. But she couldn't care less right now. Anyone who knew her understood that she was fiercely protective of her own. You want to lay a finger on her family? Then go straight to hell. At that moment, Yi Rong and the others rushed out to help, but the gap in their strength was just too huge. Even teaming up, they couldn't beat him, only managing to slightly delay the cat beast's attack. Tangled up with the group, the cat beast couldn't get to Qingyan, giving her a desperate moment to catch her breath. Watching her companions fall one by one, heavily wounded just to protect her, Qingyan gritted her teeth and gathered absolutely every ounce of her remaining strength. Finding the perfect opening, she landed a fatal strike. The powerful Tier 4 cat beast slowly collapsed to the ground. Everyone stared at Qingyan in absolute shock, refusing to believe what was happening right in front of their eyes. A single female rabbit actually took down 2 incredibly powerful Tier 4 cat beasts? Qingyan stumbled backward, leaning heavily against a large tree as she fought through the sickening discomfort in her body. For some reason, her stomach was in absolute agony, feeling like something was violently kicking around inside. The situation was critical. Qingyan urged everyone to head back and get reinforcements. "You guys go back and get help." She then quickly shifted into her true beast form and dashed off in the opposite direction. Her mother went hunting with her uncle every single day, so they had to be caught up in the cat clan's ambush right now too. Qingyan moved at blistering speed, vanishing without a trace in the blink of an eye. The others couldn't have stopped her even if they tried, so they had no choice but to follow her orders and rush back to warn the tribe. Relying on her scent tracking, Qingyan soon arrived at where her mother and uncle were. Right now, they were fighting side by side, completely surrounded by 6 cat clan warriors. Seeing that her mother was on the verge of collapsing, Qingyan threw all caution to the wind and charged straight into the fray to protect her mother. Unleashing her rapid devouring ability, she swept through the entire encirclement. But it pushed her body way past its limits. She instantly coughed up mouthfuls of blood. Worst of all, the relentless, agonizing pain in her stomach made it impossible to focus on her powers. Meanwhile, right as Qingyan was writhing in excruciating pain and coughing up blood, the Wolf King Yuyu, who had been in deep meditation, violently snapped his eyes open. He soared into the sky, leaving a chilling blanket of frost everywhere he passed. "Who dares touch my woman?" He felt a sharp shift in the aura of their bloodline bond, and could sense that she was in mortal danger. Yuyu had no choice but to break his meditation. Even though stopping now would severely damage his cultivation, he absolutely had to do it. Moving like a phantom gust of wind, in mere moments, he materialized right in front of Qingyan, gently catching her crumbling body in his arms. With a single, casual flick of his sleeve, the 6 cat beasts were sent flying backwards like broken kites. They crashed hard into the ground, coughing up blood, staring up at the silver-haired man who had just appeared out of nowhere. It was actually the Wolf King Yuyu. The Wolf King Yuyu. They were shaking uncontrollably in terror, before they could even drop to their knees and beg for mercy. A gust of wind blew past, and every single one of them exploded into fine dust. Uncle Xie Shan really thought he was going to meet his end right there. He never expected such a dramatic twist. Staring at the Wolf King, Yuyu, standing right in front of him, he was so nervous he didn't even know what to do with his own hands. Her mother, Yi Xin, was completely dumbfounded too. Her daughter was actually being held in the Wolf King's arms, but they didn't dare to move a muscle, let alone ask any questions. The Wolf King's aura was just too overwhelming, leaving them trembling in absolute fear. Yi Qingyan was dizzy and her stomach was killing her, until she suddenly collapsed into a cool, soothing embrace. Catching a whiff of that familiar, wonderful scent, she felt a wave of daze wash over her. Before she could even gather her senses, a warm, miraculous energy surged right into her body. Only then did her aching body finally start to feel some relief. Qingyan slowly fluttered her eyes open. "Wolf King Yuyu?" She jolted in shock, shivering from head to toe. "Don't move," he whispered, steadily pouring his energy into Qingyan's body, healing her battered body while gently soothing the restless baby growing inside her. Qingyan stared at Yuyu, completely frozen. And honestly, up close like this, he looked like a breathtaking god who had just descended from the heavens. So flawlessly handsome, like a painting. But then, the memories of what happened that night suddenly flooded back. She was so embarrassed she just wanted the ground to swallow her whole. Seeing that she was feeling better, Yuyu teased her. "My little bunny isn't running away this time? Thank you, for just now. If it hadn't been for Yuyu. You are carrying my child. Protecting you, taking care of you, is my absolute duty." "Ah, wait, you said I'm pregnant with your child? Ah, you're saying I'm carrying your baby? Just from that one time that night, and I'm pregnant?" She had been having some stomach pains lately, but she never even considered that possibility. Now that she thought about it, the signs were there all along. Dreaming about that little white wolf the other night was the biggest clue. No wonder her stomach would ache whenever she used her powers. A wave of sudden joy washed over Qingyan. Yu had been closely watching her expression, and he instantly knew that she wanted this baby too. He gave her hair a deeply affectionate rub, so incredibly grateful that she was bearing his child. From now on, he was going to take the absolute best care of her. Once Qingyan was carried back to the tribe in the Wolf King's arms, the news spread like wildfire through the entire rabbit tribe. Qingyan was brought back by the Wolf King, and the Wolf King even wiped out those cat beasts that tried to ambush our tribe. Our tribe is finally safe. With the Wolf King personally staying in their village, everyone was terrified, but at the same time, completely bewildered. A bunch of the rabbit beastmen rushed over to Yishan's place for answers. Hey, you guys, stop worrying. Anyway, our tribe is going to be perfectly safe from now on. Nothing bad is gonna happen. Are you kidding? Just the fact that Qingyan is carrying the Wolf King's baby means absolutely no beast would ever dare mess with the rabbit tribe. Meanwhile, back in the cave, Qingyan sat on her stone bed. Looking at Yu sitting right by her side, she couldn't help but feel that her cave was just too shabby. Someone with his majestic, noble aura really didn't belong in a place like this. Having him stay here almost felt like an insult to him. Is anywhere on your body still hurting? No, I feel so much better now. She could clearly feel that after taking the spirit pill Yu gave her. Her body had recovered a great deal. That agonizing pain from the backlash was completely gone, too. I'm just feeling a little weak. Of course you are. That was the inevitable backlash from her forcefully absorbing the energy of the surrounding plants. Normally, one would just pass out or fall into a deep sleep. So, feeling a little weak right now is actually pretty good. Not to mention, he channeled so much of his energy into her. And that kind of energy is incredibly precious to beastmen. Yet he just poured it into her body so effortlessly. He might seem cold and aloof on the outside, but he's actually so gentle. Especially with that warm, worried look in his eyes. Qingyan couldn't quite figure out what Yu was actually thinking. She scrambled to find something to talk about, but her mind went completely blank. About that night, I actually didn't mean to do that. The second those words left her mouth, Qingyan wanted to bite her own tongue off. Like anyone would believe that, she was the one who slipped him that aphrodisiac flower, plain as day. Well, technically it was the original owner of this body, but she just had to cross over at that exact moment. So, she had to take the blame. Why did you run away? Just hearing that question made Qingyan feel incredibly guilty. Yu studied her face intently. His piercing gaze was making Qingyan panic. Are you afraid of me? Well, you're the Wolf King, and I'm just a lowly rabbit. But because of that aphrodisiac flower, we ended up doing that. I just figured you'd be furious. So, I told myself I'd never show my face to you again. Can't we just, wipe the slate clean? Just pretend it never happened? What, you light a fire and then just run away? Use me and toss me aside? Or were you planning to run away with my baby? Yi Qingyan, do you take this king for a mere tool? It's the law of the beast world. If a female sleeps with a male, she has to take responsibility. You want to make it up to me? Fine, I want you, and my royal cub growing inside your belly. If the cat clan dares to mess with you, I'll wipe them off the map. From this day forward, I, the Snow Wolf King, am your mate. He pulled the little female tightly into his arms, his voice dripping with dark temptation. He wanted every single piece of her. Hearing those fiercely dominant words, Qingyan's heart skipped a heavy beat. The Wolf King, Yu, wanted to be her mate? It was something she wouldn't even dare dream of. From this day forward, I, the Snow Wolf King, am your mate. Then, you're not allowed to have any other females. Alright, I'll listen to whatever you say. Oh, those chestnuts from the other day, did you bring those? And the prey for my mom and uncle, did you arrange that too? HMPH, if you like them, I'll get you more. Come back to the Wolf Clan tribe with me. The man wanted to take her back to his tribe. And honestly, while Qingyan really did want to go, going right now would definitely make some of the other females jealous to death. If you like it here, then we'll just stay here. And if you ever want to go to the Wolf Clan, I'll take you there. Yu didn't push her at all. Yu stayed at the Rabbit Clan tribe for a few days, before heading back to handle his duties as king. Once Yu left, she didn't just sit around either. She got ready to head up the mountain to forage. Her baby was going to be a prince of the Wolf Clan. He would have heavy responsibilities on his shoulders in the future. So, right now, Qingyan felt like she needed to step up too. She needed to gather as much food as possible before winter hit. To protect the rabbit clan, and to help Yu. Learning that Qingyan was going out, her mother was understandably worried. But seeing her daughter's determined look, she could only turn to her older brother, Yi Shan. He immediately assigned his eldest son to protect Qingyan. Walking along the mountain path, she would occasionally touch the flowers and trees, absorbing some wood element energy while keeping an eye out for anything new. It wasn't long before she spotted a patch of wild soybeans. Qingyan was absolutely thrilled. Thoughts of tofu, soy milk, and soft tofu pudding flashed through her mind, along with tofu soup, stir-fried tofu, and fish stewed with tofu. She was practically drooling. "Cousin, come quick, I found something good." She hurriedly called her cousin over to help harvest the soybeans. Yi Shuo was overjoyed to learn that these were edible too. With such a massive patch of soybeans, on top of the sweet potatoes and mushrooms, they'd be able to trade for a ton of things at the market this time. The rabbit tribe was severely lacking in supplies. Whether it was salt or cultivation pills, they had to trade for absolutely everything at the market. In the past, they could only barter with beast meat and animal hides, which led to constant food shortages. Now, thanks to the various foods Qingyan had found, the rabbit tribe could finally scrape by. By the time they made it back to the tribe, it was already pitch black outside. Just as they reached her uncle's house, they heard someone sobbing uncontrollably. "Chief, please, I'm begging you, save my grandma. She took a bad fall and passed out." "Yi Shuo, hurry and fetch the Lord Healer." Qingyan figured her wood element ability might be useful for treating injuries, so she followed along to take a look. As soon as they entered the small cave, she saw an unconscious old woman lying there. The poor woman was nothing but skin and bones, clearly suffering from severe malnutrition. Then she looked at little Jess crying beside her. He was supposed to be 12 years old, but he was so incredibly frail and tiny that he looked no older than 8 or 9. Looking around the bare cave and the completely empty yard, she finally grasped the grim reality of the tribe. The situation was far worse than she had imagined. The tribe had plenty of rabid beastmen, but very few were actually capable of hunting. Qingyan quietly channeled some wood element energy into the old woman, just to ensure her body would hold up. "The Lord Healer is here," someone outside the cave suddenly shouted. A moment later, a man with pale, cool-toned skin and a teardrop mole at the corner of his eye walked in. His alluring eyes seemed naturally full of affection, making Qingyan's heart skip a sudden beat. The moment he appeared, everyone in the room couldn't help but fix their eyes on him. "Lord Healer, please, I beg you to save my grandma." Wu Zi stepped forward and sat down by the bed, reaching out to check the grandmother's pulse. The room fell dead silent. No one dared to make a sound. After checking her condition, Wu Zi pulled out some silver needles for acupuncture. His fingers moved with lightning speed, and the needles seemed to carry a strange power. Qingyan couldn't help but stare at the healer's hands. His hands were slender and elegant like jade, with beautifully defined knuckles, exactly like the male lead's hands in a romance manga. After a long while, Wu Zi packed away the silver needles and spoke. "Her condition has stabilized for now, but she desperately needs proper nourishment." Just as Qingyan had suspected, this was primarily caused by chronic malnutrition. But there were so many frail people in the tribe just like Granny Lin. Even if the tribe were far stronger, they couldn't possibly fix a crisis like this on their own. The meager supplies they scrounged up from hunting simply weren't enough to feed everyone. He still had to help the tribe find more new food sources. Wu stood up, getting ready to leave, but for some reason, he slowly turned his head to look at Qingyan. That single glance gave her the feeling that her very soul was being pulled away, especially when his gaze landed right on her belly. "Miss Yi, you are with child. You must rest more these next few days." Qingyan shifted uncomfortably, trying to avoid his piercing eyes. "Thank you for your concern, Lord Shaman. There is no need for thanks, Miss Yi. If you need anything at all, you can always come find me." Saying that, he opened his oil paper umbrella and stepped back out into the rain. Once he was gone, Qingyan let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. When she got back, she used some dry grass to make a little nest. She carefully placed the eggs inside to try and hatch them. Will this really hatch little chicks? If it's really like you said, and we can raise chickens in the yard and actually eat eggs, then so many more beastmen in our tribe will be able to survive. That would be a massive achievement. But These just look like some grass seeds. They don't look edible at all. Mom, you will find out tomorrow. Alright, the very next day, Qingyan asked her cousin to help her make a stone mill. Very quickly, 2 stone mills were fully built. By morning, the soybeans had finished soaking. Now, they were ready to be ground up. She poured some in, and started turning the heavy millstone to grind the soybeans. Right below where the soy milk flowed out, she placed a clean wooden bucket. In no time, the rich, earthy scent of soybeans filled the air. Smelling that wonderful aroma, a big smile spread across Qingyan's face. The most natural smell of food is simply the best. Yi Shuo and Yi Rong were completely stunned. The two of them just stared blankly. They were in shock for quite a while before finally snapping out of it. So this is what my sister meant when she talked about processing food. Before this, Yi Shuo couldn't even begin to imagine how those hard soybeans could turn into actual food. So this is how it works. After Qingyan finished boiling the soy milk, the two of them took a sip, and their eyes practically bulged out of their heads. Wow, this is so delicious, and so fragrant. Right after that, Qingyan whipped up some egg pancakes. She set a few aside for them, and packed the rest on a wooden tray to visit Grandma Lin. But what she completely didn't expect was that Woo's would also be at Grandma Lin's house. At that exact moment, Qingyan had a strong urge to just turn around and walk right back home. Miss Yi, you have arrived. His voice was soft and raspy, completely masking whatever emotions he might be feeling. Since Woo's had already spotted her, she couldn't just pretend she hadn't come at all. Oh, Lord Shaman, please forgive my lack of manners. Please make yourself at home, Miss Yi. There is no need to be so formal. Sister Yi, hurry up and come inside. It's all thanks to you, Sister Yi. Following the older kids in the tribe, I dug up so many radishes and mushrooms. We don't have to starve anymore. I brought this for you and your grandma. Eat it while it's still hot. Wow, little Jess was completely oblivious to the intense, unspoken tension in the room. Qingyan asked Jess to grab a bowl, and then poured out the soy milk from her bamboo tube. The rich aroma instantly filled the air. And look, these are pancakes made from eggs and soy milk. You and your grandma share these. Go on, eat up. They won't taste as good if they get cold. Looking at how painfully thin and small Jess was, Qingyan's heart just ached for the little guy. But this was the reality of the tribe. While Qingyan was talking to Gus, she couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. She could sense it was Woo's. Woo's watched her closely. On his exquisitely stunning face, a flicker of emotion appeared. It was incredibly rare for a female to be so patient with a beastman cub. She radiated a genuine, heartfelt gentleness. A gentle female. Woo's had never believed such a thing existed. Gus looked at the food in his hands, wanting to share some with Woo's to thank him for helping his grandma. He glanced hesitantly at Qingyan though, since she was the one who brought the food. Qingyan just wanted to get out of there. Having Woo's around was making her heart race like crazy. But she didn't want to break the little guy's heart, so she bit the bullet and offered a bowl to Woo's. Lord Woo's, you should try some too. Woo's reached out to take it. Without warning, their fingertips brushed against each other. A jolt of electricity seemed to shoot through Qingyan. Thank goodness Woo's had already taken the bowl. As he drank the soy milk, every movement he made was slow and deliberate. And incredibly elegant. It made Qingyan even more curious about his background. Why would someone like him come to a lowly rabbit tribe to be a witch doctor? Woo's took a sip, and a look of surprise crossed his face. Miss Yi, your soy milk is excellent. If everyone in the tribe drank this, it would do wonders for their health. It was true, soy milk was great for the body. And highly nutritious, too. Miss Yi, you're expecting. So you're going to need a lot of food. But you should also be careful. Careful of what? You probably don't know the Snow Wolf King's situation. In the entire Beast continent, you are the only one with the fertility capable of bearing the Wolf King's heir, and a pure-blooded snow wolf at that, with extraordinary talents. But if the child possesses divine mystic powers, the testing stone won't be able to detect it. Tell me, Miss Yi, if someone found out about this, what do you think they would do? Even the Wolf King has enemies. By the time Qingyan snapped out of her daze, Woo's had vanished into thin air. Wait, so the baby in her belly is a little snow wolf? She actually thought it would be a rabbit-wolf hybrid, remembering the fluffy, adorable little snow wolf she had seen in her dreams. Qingyan felt her heart completely melt. No matter what, she had to get stronger. She had to protect her baby. She needed to level up her special abilities, and fast. But, why did Wooz tell her all that? Why give her that warning? Was he really just being nice? Qingyan highly doubted it. After saying goodbye to Gus and heading home, she pulled out the rami she had found the day before. This could be spun into yarn, and then woven into linen cloth. The Rabbit tribe was a low-tier clan. All the beastmen here wore rough animal skins. Meanwhile, folks in the central imperial city wore luxurious silks and satins, stuff the lower tribes could never afford. Especially since her Rabbit tribe was still struggling just to stay fed. They obviously couldn't trade their precious food for fancy clothes. But Qingyan could teach everyone how to make burlap sacks and linen clothing. That way, the tribe could slowly start to prosper. Plus, they could take it to the market and trade for things they actually needed. Over the next few days, Qingyan led her people to harvest soybeans, dig up sweet potatoes, and gather more rami. They started making linen. While everyone was bustling with work, on that very afternoon, Yu showed up at the Rabbit tribe once again, seeking out Yi Qingyan. All the longing suppressed in his eyes finally broke free. He rushed over and pulled her tightly into his arms, carefully avoiding her belly as he held her tighter and tighter. Breathing in Yi Qingyan's sweet scent, his empty heart was instantly filled. "Did you miss me?" Yi Qingyan rested her head against his chest, and as she took in his familiar, crisp scent, she suddenly realized just how much she had actually missed him. She nodded obediently. "I missed you." That soft little confession made Yu's heart tremble. He wanted nothing more than to melt her right into his bones. Suddenly, Yi Qingyan caught the faint scent of blood on him. "You're hurt?" she gasped. Yu just gently smoothed her hair. "I'm not. It's someone else's blood." It turned out that during the days he had been gone, he was dealing with the cat tribe. Now, their threat had been completely wiped out, ensuring no one would ever dare to lay a hand on the Rabbit tribe again. Yi Qingyan looked up at his noble, composed face. He looked so elegant and restrained. Yu, even if you did absolutely nothing, so many females would still fall head over heels for you, wouldn't they? Tell me, now that you're my mate. What am I supposed to do if all those females come after me out of sheer jealousy? Come back to the Snow Wolf tribe with me. We'll hold a grand mating ceremony, and have the priest announce it to the whole world. Whoever dares to hurt you will be the sworn enemy of the Snow Wolf tribe. We will hunt them to their dying breath. Oh, no, that's really not necessary. Things are just fine the way they are. Yi Qingyan was completely caught off guard by his intense words. She was only teasing him. She definitely didn't want to draw that much attention to herself. It would feel like losing her freedom forever, having to rely entirely on the Snow Wolf tribe to survive. Besides, you can dodge an open attack, but it's hard to guard against a stab in the back. At the end of the day, she had to rely on herself. But, thank you anyway, Qingyan. I don't want your thanks. How about this as a thank you, then? Qingyan, that's not enough. Let's go back to the cave, alright? Qingyan knew exactly what would happen if they went into that cave. Let's eat dinner first. For dinner, she cooked a bunch of delicious dishes Yu had never seen before, leaving him absolutely mind-blown. Qingyan had also realized just how incredibly limited the food choices were in this world. Even the ingredients she had foraged over the past few days were things her body's previous owner had never even seen. Even the most bustling parts of the central royal city don't have these. I'm going to bring all kinds of amazing food into this world. No, I actually think your North District has the richest resources. And I can cook all sorts of dishes that even the central royal city doesn't have. Those beastmen look down on our North District, calling it a barren wasteland. So we're going to turn the North District into the most lively and prosperous place ever. We'll make them all jealous of us. The North District was at the absolute bottom of the beastmen's social hierarchy. But because of Yu's overwhelming strength, no one dared to casually attack them. Yi Qingyan looked at Yu, feeling like he had this radiant glow about him. He looked so divine and beautiful. I'm great at making delicious food, and I love coming up with new recipes too. Yu looked at her bright, sunny smile, his heart filling with warmth. You don't have to do all this work yourself. Just let me know what you need, and I'll take care of it. But I don't find it tiring at all. Making good food makes me so happy. You're my beast husband, after all. I want to treat you well, too, and do something for the Northern District. You're so wonderful, I just want to hide you away. You're so wonderful, I want to hide you away, too. No need to hide me. I'm all yours. Just then, footsteps came from outside the cave. Yi Qingyan quickly composed her expression. Big brother and mother are back, and they brought food. Mother, brother, the two of them were completely flattered. The beastmen from the village also came to thank Yi Qingyan, bringing food as well. But the moment they saw the Snow Wolf King, everyone's faces went pale. They dropped the things and ran for it. People in the tribe were whispering in awe. Yi Qingyan is truly something else, actually making the Snow Wolf King her beast husband. Late at night, Yi Qingyan was soaking in a wooden tub. Suddenly, she heard footsteps. Yu Yu gracefully walked over, carrying some water. I can wash myself. Last time in the cave. You were much braver than this. His warm breath brushed past the back of her ear. A shiver ran through Yi Qingyan's body. That day, she thought it was just a dream. Looking back, she didn't know where she got that kind of courage. Now it's all coming back to her. She really didn't know where she got the nerve last time. This Wolf King's aura is just too intense. She really couldn't handle him. But the rules of the beast world are unique. The stronger your mate is, the more protection you receive. Not to mention, he's a 9th tier Snow Wolf King. He suddenly leaned in closer. You dared to scheme against me back then. Now you're chickening out? When she woke up, she was shocked to find her powers had upgraded. A whole acre of land appeared out of nowhere in her space. Just as she was feeling thrilled, she looked up and saw Wooz. Wooz glanced at her and frowned. The young girl had a tired look in her eyes, with faint marks lingering on her neck. Anyone could tell at a glance that she had been thoroughly taken care of by her mate. His gaze fell on Yi Qingyan, dark currents swirling in his eyes. Giving off a dangerous yet captivating vibe, Yi Qingyan instantly picked up on this feeling. Her face changed. She felt that Wooz was eerie and mysterious. With an unknown background, he was completely different from any beastman she had ever met. At that moment, Yu Yu also walked out of the cave. Seeing Wooz, he paused in surprise. He never expected the rabbit tribe's witch doctor to be such a stunningly beautiful man. His noble aura was completely natural. The faint scent lingering around Wooz reminded him of a legendary tribe that was wiped out long ago. Wuz's strength was unfathomable. He might have already surpassed the 9th tier, entering the legendary transcendent realm. I see that Lord Wooz is not originally from the rabbit tribe. I wonder what brings you here. Naturally, it's because the former witch doctor of the rabbit tribe saved my life. I owe him a debt of gratitude, and so, I agreed to serve as the rabbit tribe's witch doctor to repay that kindness. I would never do anything to harm the rabbit tribe, especially not Miss Yi, the wife of the Snow Wolf King. Yu Yu knew Wooz wasn't lying. That pure, noble aura around Wooz made it clear that he disdained lying. So, Yu Yu took out a high-grade purple spirit stone to pay the medical fee. But Wooz refused. This is far too valuable. Forgive me, but I cannot accept this. Yu Yu then brought out some medicinal herbs instead. This was given on behalf of Yi Qingyan. Wu Zi knew this was Yu Yu showing his territorial instincts. He ended up accepting it. After Wu Zi left, Yi Qingyan asked with a curious face, "Do you think there's something off about Wu Zi? He reminds me of a legendary race. They were the most powerful tribe on the Beast continent. They possessed absolute natural beauty and immense power. But legend has it that over 100 years ago, that entire race was wiped out. Without a single survivor, the Snow Wolf clan has ancient texts and illustrations, recording some distinct traits of the beastmen from this race. The aura he carries reminds me of that very race, the Charm Demon clan. Ah, I never thought there'd be demons on the Beast continent. I thought there were only beastmen and magical beasts. The Charm Demon clan is the oldest race on the Beast continent. They excelled in rituals, divination, witchcraft, and medicine. They knew everything about the stars above and the earth below. Their rituals could even communicate with the gods. They were once known as demigods, and all the beastmen worshipped them. Many beastmen sought to learn from them, but the Charm Demon clan only taught medicine. Today, the medical skills of the witch doctors in every tribe originated from them, but they barely scratched the surface. After the Charm Demon clan was wiped out, so much medical knowledge was lost forever. They had a very unique physique, making offspring incredibly rare. They used testing stones to choose females with strong fertility, but their heirs could only be male. As for the deeper secrets within their clan, nobody knows a thing. If Wu Zi really belongs to the Charm Demon clan, that's absolutely incredible. Were the fertility testing stones also from their clan? Yes. Those testing stones were invented by them. I can confidently say you possess divine fertility, which is what caused the testing stone to fail. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be bringing this up. It's okay, I was just surprised. I love our baby so much. And I just don't want anyone else to know right now. I'm so worried someone might try to hurt him. We need to keep this a secret, at least until our little snow wolf pup is born. Yi Qingyan recalled Wu Zi's warning. Even though she was fearless, having a baby meant she had to be extra cautious now. Her wood elemental powers were currently nourishing her body. The adorable little snow wolf she saw in her dreams just made her maternal instincts completely overflow. Moreover, she could feel that the little snow wolf was born with her wood elemental powers, along with the Blood Clan's ice and snow abilities. This completely surprised her. Can beast cubs on the beast continent really possess dual elemental powers? That kind of thing is incredibly rare. Even if it happens, it's just an isolated case. They possess ice and snow powers. It's not a water elemental ability. Melting ice and snow turns into water, but a water elemental ability can control all forms of water. Whether our child has elemental powers or not, he will be the next leader of our Snow Wolf clan. I'll love him and protect him with my life. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have any powers. This is our baby, my absolute treasure. But what if he turns out to be a rabbit, or a rabbit-wolf hybrid? Then he'd still be the absolute cutest. A rabbit or a rabbit-wolf hybrid, as long as he's born from you. I'll love him no matter what. Hybrids usually had a very low status in the beast world, and were constantly looked down upon by the nobles. But Yi Qingyan knew her constitution was incredibly strong, so she would definitely give birth to a little snow wolf. Yu Yu smiled warmly and stroked her hair. Our baby is a precious treasure. As long as I'm here, I will protect you both. Yi Qingyan looked up at him, her heart melting with a deep, comforting warmth. The more I get to know Yu Yu, the more wonderful he seems. Transmigrating to the beast world really isn't so bad after all. Over the next few days, with Yu Yu by her side, Qingyan's complexion grew more and more radiant. From time to time, she would cook up some stir-fried pork with chives for Yu Yu. Chives and eggs, or just straight-up stir-fried chives. She fed him so many chives that Yu Yu started looking a little green himself. After all, with her wood-type ability, growing fresh chives in the dead of winter was a total breeze. But then, Yu Yu suddenly received an urgent report from the misty forest. The demonic beasts had been frantically attacking the barrier. If that barrier falls, the entire demon race will invade the beast continent. Every single tribe will be in grave danger. Qingyan turned pale. Yu Yu was completely torn. He really didn't want to leave her. He looked at his woman with deep concern. Even though it broke Qingyan's heart to see him go, she knew that as the king of the north, this was Yu Yu's duty. If she were strong enough, she would have gone right out there to fight by his side. But right now, she only had a level 1 wood ability. Yu Yu stepped forward and pulled her into a tight embrace, careful not to press against her pregnant belly. His eyes were filled with overwhelming reluctance. Qingyan hugged him back just as fiercely. Please, promise me you'll come back safe. She knew that reinforcing the barrier was no easy task. That barrier was created a long, long time ago, sealed by the combined powers of the great Snow Wolf elders. Legend says, so many of their people sacrificed their lives that day. Part of her selfishly wanted to beg Yu Yu to stay, but she knew she couldn't do that to him. She wanted to go to the border with him too, but logic told her. She was heavily pregnant right now. She couldn't drag herself into a war zone, especially since it was so dangerously close to the demonic miasma. The Snow Wolf's ice magic could at least suppress that dark energy. But as for me, I'm just a rabbit beast man. All I have is wood magic. I don't have any ice powers. Once Yu Yu finally left, an empty, aching feeling settled in Qingyan's heart. He had to leave so abruptly, and could be facing deadly danger at any given moment. She was absolutely terrified for him. She forced herself to stay busy, heading up into the mountains to forage for new food. But she never expected to bump into Wuz, who was out picking flowers. In his hand was a single yellow rapeseed flower. Qingyan's eyes lit up immediately. Once those rapeseed flowers go to seed, they can be pressed for oil, and that oil would be absolutely perfect for cooking. Not to mention, The fresh greens are delicious veggies on their own. What an amazing find. Even though she really didn't want to get too close to Wu's, she swallowed her pride and walked over to him. Lord Wu, where exactly did you find that flower? Deep within the valley. But there's no need to rush. Because in exactly 6 days, you will give birth. Qingyan gasped, utterly shocked. Could he really predict the exact day her baby was coming? This left her with no choice but to believe what Yu had told her before. Was he really from the Charm Demon tribe? If that was true, then what he just said had to be absolute fact. So, Qingyan made up her mind. Over these next few days, she had to get everything ready for the baby's arrival. Thank you. No matter how she felt about him, she still owed him her gratitude. After saying goodbye to Wu's, she rushed home to prep. 6 nights later, lightning suddenly tore across the sky, followed by roaring thunder. A torrential downpour began. The thunder was so loud, Qingyan couldn't sleep a wink. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through her belly. Before she even had time to brace herself, in no time at all, she gave birth to a tiny, precious little snow wolf. It went incredibly smoothly, and from the tiny pup's body, a radiant, pure blue light began to glow. It shot straight up into the sky, bringing with it an earth-shattering sensation. At night, every single beastman across the Beast World continent saw this phenomenon in the sky, sending shockwaves through every faction in the land. A pureblood beast with a natural spiritual body. Meanwhile, a group of masked beastmen in black silently slipped into the Rabbit Clan tribe. They were heading straight for Qingyan's cave, but before they could even go inside, a figure holding a black umbrella blocked their path. It was actually Wu's. Qingyan had just given birth, and her wood element ability had passed on to her baby. Watching the commotion out in the yard, she naturally spotted Wu's. The little snow wolf in her arms seemed fast asleep, with a surge of blue light flowing all around his body. She watched in awe as his dual abilities, the wood element and the ice element, both jumped straight from Tier 1 to Tier 3, and then, the little snow wolf transformed into a human baby. Qingyan was completely stunned. Meanwhile, high up on a mountain peak, an old master who was cultivating in seclusion suddenly opened his eyes, staring in absolute shock at the blue light in the distance. It has appeared, Master, what is going on? The legendary pureblood beastman with a natural spiritual body has been born. This is absolutely incredible. A long time ago, before the Phantom Demon clan was wiped out, our clan's high priest made a prophecy. He said that once the natural spiritual body appears, it means a beastman carrying the mandate of heaven has arrived. He will save our Beast World continent. The very structure of the Beast World will be reshaped, bringing forth a golden age of prosperity. The brutal fighting outside raged on. Qingyan held her baby tightly, watching the chaos unfold. She could see Wu's fiercely battling those assassins in black. As the fight dragged on, his body became stained with blood. She honestly couldn't understand why he was going so far to save her. Why was he helping her? It wasn't until he finally finished off the last of those assassins that Wu's turned around and slowly walked over. Don't be afraid, I am here. Hearing those words, for some reason, her heartstrings were deeply tugged. The baby transformed. Why isn't he crying? He is fine. He's doing great. He has the highest talent level in the entire Beast World right now. But because he has a natural spiritual body, he will easily become a target for all the different factions, and even the magical beasts. We need to keep him safe first. It's not safe to stay here. We have to get out of here right now. Will the Rabbit Clan be okay? They were only coming after you too. As long as you leave, the Rabbit Clan will be perfectly safe. Just as he said that, a fierce gale suddenly whipped through the air. A suffocating aura of dark demonic energy began to close in. Wuz's expression changed instantly. It's too late. He sliced his own finger and used his blood to draw a mysterious symbol in the air. Then, with his bare hands, it was as if he literally tore open a void barrier. Wuz uncontrollably coughed up a mouthful of blood. Wuz, are you okay? I'm fine. Go. Get inside quickly. Once inside, Qingyan was greeted by a lush, vibrant meadow, filled with the scent of flowers and the singing of birds. There was a wooden cabin, beautiful plants, a cascading waterfall, and a clear spring. It felt just like a hidden paradise. Where exactly are we? This used to be one of my clan's settlements. I moved the entire place into this void realm. We'll hide out here for now. I'll wait until my aura is fully concealed before stepping out. Woo-zee, woo-zee. Wake up, wake up. She had no choice but to lay the baby on the wooden bed first, then drag Woo-zee inside. Once he was settled in bed, she checked his pulse, only to realize his condition was critical. What on earth should she do? Right at that moment, a sweet, childish voice rang out. Mommy. Yi Qingyun's whole body jolted. She looked down, only to see her baby sitting straight up. He was staring right at her with huge, sparkling eyes. Yi Qingyun was absolutely thrilled. My baby. The little one reached out his hands. Hug me, mommy. I'm not that fragile, you know. You can hug me as tight as you want. Oh, alright, don't worry, mommy. Even though this mister is badly hurt. You can save him. You can save him? Really? It's true, mommy. He saved the both of us. So I can save him. But you're still so little. How are you supposed to save him? Mommy, carry me over to him. Mommy, he's okay for now. He just needs to sleep for a bit and he'll wake up. But his old wounds are really severe. This requires a super powerful wood element ability to heal. But there's another great way to make all his internal and old wounds get better. What way? It's for you, mommy. To stay by his side for a very long time. And take care of him with all your heart. Oh, you silly boy. You can't just say things like that. But it's true, mommy. I'm not lying to you. How do you know all this? It just popped right into my head. Let's just settle down here for now. That dark energy outside, is it coming after you? Mommy, I'm so sorry. I'm still too little and weak right now. I can't stop that dark energy. But I promise you, I will get stronger, and then I can completely crush them. Then they won't ever dare to come near me again. Is it because you were born with a spirit body? Mommy, my special body lets me cultivate super fast. I'll become strong in no time. Please don't hate me, mommy. Oh, I love you so much. How could I ever hate you? You're so sweet and adorable. I could never love you enough. I love you too, mommy. Mommy, what's my name? Let's just call you Da Bao for now. When your daddy comes back, he can give you a proper name. Oh, right, are you hungry? What do you want to eat? Or, how exactly should I take care of you? I want to eat your cooking, mommy. The fish you grill is super yummy. So everything in my dreams was actually real. Mommy will make it for you right now. Thank goodness she had her spatial dimension. She had stored quite a bit of food in there before, and it was finally coming in handy. Luckily, this little wooden cabin was stocked with pots, pans, bowls, and even firewood. Yi Qingyun scanned the dimension with her mind, only to discover that a small stream had suddenly appeared out of nowhere. She thought her eyes were playing tricks on her, but after focusing her mind to check again, she realized it really was a stream. And this stream, the water looked completely different from normal water. It was shimmering with a strange, magical glow. Yi Qingyun quietly scooped out a little bit of the water and took a sip. It was incredibly sweet and refreshing, sending a warm, soothing feeling straight to her stomach. She could even feel her weak body regaining a little bit of strength. She scooped up a spoonful and gave it to Da Bao. Da Bao took a sip and broke into a big, happy smile. You sleep for a little bit, okay? Mommy is going to cook. I'll wake you up when the food is ready. With that, Yi Qingyun slipped back into her spatial dimension. This time, she noticed the farming plots had gotten bigger, and 2 cans of milk powder had magically appeared on the table in the courtyard. There were also baby bottles and a few other baby supplies. But most importantly, there were wheat seeds. Seeing those wheat seeds made Yi Qingyun more excited than anything else. With these seeds, she could plant huge batches of wheat right here in her dimension. She could even use her power to ripen them quickly, which meant they would have fresh flour in no time. But as she looked at all these new things, she couldn't help but feel confused. How did all this new stuff suddenly pop up? I thought things only appeared here if I put them in myself. Because the master has given birth to a cub for a high-tier beast husband, the dimension has granted a reward. The master will also accumulate merit points. The voice echoed through the space, startling her. Her dimension had never talked to her before. Are these items the only reward? Is there anything else? And what do you mean by merit points? But this time, the system stayed completely silent. She tuned into the outside world for a moment and found that Da Bao was still sound asleep. Since there was no rush to go back out, she started planting the wheat seeds in the dimensional fields. When she finally came out, Yi Qingyan lit the fire and started cooking, using the magical spring water to make a sweet potato and egg porridge. As Da Bao slept, the delicious smell of the food drifted into his dreams. He slowly opened his eyes, sat up in bed, and sleepily rubbed his little eyes. "Oh, my sweet baby, you're awake." "Up, mommy." "Wait, mommy, put me down. I can walk by myself." He pushed his little hands against the floor and struggled to stand up. He used the wall for balance as he walked, his tiny steps a bit wobbly. He looked so adorably clumsy, and he even tumbled over once along the way. Yi Qingyan's heart just melted. She quickly rushed over to help him up. "Mommy, I can do it myself." When he finally made it to the table, he was still just a little too small, and couldn't quite climb up into the chair. Yi Qingyan gently lifted him up and sat him down. "Here is some warm milk, and this is your sweet potato and egg porridge." "Mommy's cooking is the yummiest. You are the best mommy in the whole wide world." "Oh, you silly boy. You always know exactly what to say. When you grow up, who knows how many female beasts you're going to charm. If you love it, mommy will make you lots more. I'll cook you all kinds of yummy treats." When it was time to sleep that night, there was only one bed. Since the unconscious Wu Zi was lying on it, Yi Qingyan couldn't possibly sleep on the bed too. She found some clean grass and spread it out on the floor. Then, she tucked Da Bao into the inner side of the bed to sleep. She planned to sleep on the pile of grass on the floor. "Mom, come up here too. You can just sleep on the bed." "Mom is on the floor. Why won't Mom come sleep on the bed?" "That wouldn't be proper for your Uncle Wu." Even though the beast world didn't have any concept of a woman's reputation, Yi Qingyan still felt it was completely inappropriate. She coaxed and sweet-talked Da Bao into sleeping on the bed by himself, while she slept on the pile of grass. But it was just way too hard, and she wasn't used to it, so she couldn't fall asleep at all. Tossing and turning, she only managed to doze off in the middle of the night. And when she woke up the next morning, she had a terrible crick in her neck. Her neck was so stiff she couldn't even move it. "Mom, let Da Bao blow on it to make it better." As he spoke, Da Bao placed his little hands on Yi Qingyan's neck, and his wood element powers began to surge. Only then did Yi Qingyan's neck feel a bit better. Mom was just careless. I'm sorry for making you worry. If Mom doesn't want Da Bao to worry, then you should sleep on the bed too. Uncle Wu doesn't even kick the blankets in his sleep. We can just sleep quietly and it'll be fine. Besides, Daddy already entrusted Mom to Uncle Yi. What do you mean, entrusted? I mean 4 days ago, when Mom was sleeping at night. Daddy came back to see Mom. I heard Daddy telling you that if he couldn't make it back from sealing the barrier, he'd let Uncle Yi be Mom's second beast husband and take care of you. Are you saying your dad came back the past few nights? But I had no idea. That's because Mom was fast asleep. Of course you didn't know. Daddy was talking to himself and said a lot of things to Mom. He mostly said that things at the barrier were really bad, and that he might not be able to come back. He even transferred some power to Mom, and he told me to take really good care of Mom once I came out. Daddy said he would definitely come back. If Mom keeps sleeping so poorly, it just means Da Bao is useless and didn't take good care of Mom. You little rascal, you're way too smart for your own good. No wonder you didn't look for your dad when you woke up, or even ask anything about him. So you understood everything all along. It's because I can feel that Daddy is still alive. But Daddy has things to do and can't come right now. With Uncle Yi here, he can protect Mom. Mom, tonight Da Bao wants to sleep on the bed with you. Da Bao wants Mom to stay with me. When Mom sleeps on the floor, Da Bao's heart just hurts for you. Otherwise, Da Bao will sleep on the floor too. Alright, fine, tonight, we'll let your Uncle Yi sleep on the very inside. You sleep in the middle, and Mom will take the outside edge. That shouldn't bother anyone. But later on, you are absolutely not allowed to tell your Uncle Yi about this. He's fast asleep right now anyway, so he has no idea what's going on out here. Mom, I won't say a word. Da Bao is a good boy, and I always keep my promises to Mom. Such a good boy. When night fell, they got into bed and lay down. Even though Yi Qingyan was sleeping on the very outside edge, having Da Bao sleep in the middle was fine, but for some reason, she could still smell a faint, herbal fragrance. She knew it was the scent coming from Wu Zi. Scent was almost intoxicating. She didn't manage to fall asleep until the middle of the night when she was completely exhausted. But little did she know, both mother and son were restless sleepers. In her groggy, dreamlike state, Yi Qingyan felt like she was hugging a block of cool jade as she slept. When she woke up the next morning, she found her entire body wrapped around Wu Zi like an octopus. She opened her eyes, only to be met with Wu Zi's stunningly gorgeous face. Her heart totally skipped a beat. I'm so sorry. I really didn't mean to do that. Well, Mommy was fast asleep and I had no idea what I was doing. After breakfast, Yi Qingyan picked up Da Bao and headed outside. They went into the woods, where she had Da Bao use his wood element powers to chop down a massive tree. Having wood element powers meant he could carve through it like butter, shaping the timber into whatever form they needed. Yi Qingyan worked hard to build a sturdy wooden bed. After that, she found some stones and had Da Bao help her grind them down to craft a small stone mill. They moved the wooden bed into the cabin and placed the small stone mill into her dimensional space. This way, the wheat she rapidly grew inside the space could be ground into flour. As they walked deeper into the nearby woods, they stumbled upon a huge patch of medicinal herbs. It looked as if someone had intentionally planted them there. Mommy, look, herbs, so many of them. Yi Qingyan was absolutely thrilled to see such an abundance of medicinal plants. Mommy, look at these ones too. Brewing these can help strengthen the body. That's great. Mommy will use them to brew his medicine. But, since we're using your Uncle Yi's herbs, we'll definitely have to find a way to repay him later. Over the next few days, the mother and son thoroughly explored every inch of the area around the cabin. They found out that the area was rich in herbs and completely safe from any dangerous beasts. The river nearby even had plenty of fish. To make sure Da Bao had a well-balanced diet, Yi Qingyan caught some and made hearty fish soup for him. And of course, every single day, she used water from her spiritual spring to brew medicine for Wu Zi. One evening, after the two of them had a filling dinner, Yi Qingyan brought the freshly brewed medicine over to the bed. She gently fed it to Wu Zi as usual, softly murmuring, "I wonder, when exactly you're going to wake up? This medicine is really good for your body. It should help heal your old injuries. I've been checking your pulse these past few days, and I can tell you're getting much stronger. Oh, by the way, we caught 2 fish in the river today. We made a delicious fish soup, and even gathered a bunch of fresh herbs. I actually just discovered some sugarcane growing in the woods today too. It's absolutely wonderful. We can use it to make our own sugar." But right in the middle of feeding him and happily chattering away about her day, Wu Zi slowly fluttered his eyes open. Miss Yi, seeing that he was finally awake, Yi Qingyan completely lost her grip on the medicine bowl. It slipped right out of her hands and crashed to the floor. You're awake. I was just feeding you your medicine. I know, you know. Thank you for saving me, Miss Yi. You saved me and Da Bao too. Besides, you fell into a deep sleep because of us. Technically, I should be the one thanking you. Plus, this was exactly what I promised brother you. Wu's took out a jade slip. With a flick of his finger, a projection appeared from the jade slip. This is a recording from 4 days ago. The Snow Wolf King paid a late-night visit. Is something the matter? The barrier in the misty forest is in critical condition this time. Demonic energy and beasts are surging out. I have to lead the Snow Wolf tribe to reinforce the barrier. We must guard the northern pass. It's just, I'm going to let a Yan down. On the day she gives birth, I probably won't be able to stay by her side. If there's any danger, I beg you, Master Wu, to please lend a helping hand. To think the legendary, noble, and aloof Snow Wolf King actually has moments where he begs others. As long as she and the baby are safe, what does begging matter, Master Wu? You can state your terms and conditions. Consider it a favor I owe you. You should know that with our level of power, we only protect a female when we are her beast husband. That's the only time we protect with everything we have. I know A Yan is so wonderful that she won't just have one beast husband. Because in the Northern District, only you possess the immense strength to keep her safe. Your Highness of the Charm Demon Tribe. Rumor has it that Your Highness of the Charm Demon Tribe always keeps his promises and never goes back on his word. You truly live up to your title, Snow Wolf King. Since I can't hide it from you, you should also be able to guess why I came here. Your target was her from the very beginning. She isn't a target. I came here specifically for her. I won't hurt a single hair on her head, and I don't need any conditions. As for what I want to do, just don't stand in my way. As long as it's good for A Yan, and as long as she agrees, I will naturally respect whatever decision she makes. You, Miss Yi, everything you just saw in this projection is real. I'm showing you this just to let you know that ever since I first came to Tushan to be a healer, I've been waiting for you, Miss Yi. Besides, since you've held me, Miss Yi, I'm already yours. So naturally, I had to tell you all this. I want to be your beast husband, Miss Yi. A beast husband? You knew that I. Even though I was in a deep sleep, I was aware of everything happening outside. So, how about I become your second beast husband? Would that be alright? If you don't want to take responsibility, Miss Yi, it's fine. I'll just pretend nothing ever happened. I will still protect and take care of you and the baby, and I'll help Dabao conceal his spirit physique, as long as it's something I can do. I will do it. I never said I wouldn't take responsibility. I just want to know. What did you mean when you said you came here specifically for me? What's really going on? And you're from the Phantom Demon clan, right? I heard your clan was wiped out. But hey, if it's too painful to talk about, you don't have to answer. Yi Wu's eyes softened slightly. Anything you want to know, I'll tell you everything. Over 100 years ago, it was exactly the day of Yi Wu's 300th coming-of-age ceremony. But before the ritual even began, a traitor emerged from within the clan, shattering the barrier and leading the enemy right to our doorstep. Yi Wu's wanted to fight them to the death, but the enemy's power was simply too overwhelming. They struck him down, leaving him in a pool of his own blood. At that critical moment, his father used a blood divination to find a single glimmer of hope, sealing the gravely injured Yi Wu's inside a magical artifact. A century later, he was destined to head to the Rabbit Clan in the Changhua Forest Valley of the Northern District to work as a healer. There, he was to wait for a female who could save their entire clan. And so, Yi Wu's was taken in by the Rabbit Clan's healer. He suffered in silence until Qingyan finally appeared recently. Yi Qingyan sharply caught onto a blind spot in his story. There are so many females in the Rabbit Clan. How did you lock onto me so perfectly? Because pureblood phantom demons can sense each other. After that great catastrophe, I am the last surviving pureblood. But more importantly, only you can bear my pureblood children, allowing them to inherit the immense power of our ancestors. Otherwise, the Phantom Demon clan will truly die out forever. As for my current state, because of my severe injuries from back then, I only have about 10 to 20% of my strength left. Even though I carry this heavy burden, I will never, ever force you into anything you don't want to do. Hearing this, Yi Qingyan finally understood what he was really after. So he basically just came to her to make babies. Just as she was feeling totally conflicted about this, the spatial system in her mind chimed once again. High-quality male beastman Wu's detected. If you bear his pureblood offspring, your power will significantly increase. It will also extend your lifespan, and you can casually rack up some sweet merit points, too. Yi Qingyan's mouth twitched hard. Merit points and power were exactly the assets she desperately needed right now to protect herself and her babies. Alright, stop looking at me like you're so afraid of wronging me. You're not forcing me. These babies, I'll have them. The moment those words left her lips, Yi Wu's froze for a second, before a wave of absolute, unbelievable ecstasy erupted in his eyes. Thank you, so much. From this day forward, I swear upon my very life, that I will protect you. Yi Qingyan just rolled her eyes. She immediately started drilling some modern safety concepts into his head. Now you listen to me. Your own safety is always the top priority, no matter what. Safety comes first, got it? Besides, since you're my mate now, I'm going to get stronger and protect you, too. Completely stunned by her promise to protect him, Yi Wu's face instantly lit up with a deeply flattered expression. In all his hundreds of years of life, this was the very first time he'd ever heard of a female wanting to protect her mate. His heart completely melted, trembling with overwhelming emotion. But just as the mood was about to get all sweet and romantic, Yi Qingyan suddenly shifted gears. By the way, what exact faction slaughtered your people back then? Or rather, which beast clan was responsible for that massacre? At the mention of that horrific tragedy, a chilling, blood-red glint flashed in Yi Wu's eyes. The beastmen who attacked us back then were all masked and dressed in black. Their origins were a total mystery, but the most terrifying part was, many of them were actually in the transcendent realm. You have to understand, in the entire beast world continent, ordinary beasts reaching tier 9 is already considered the absolute ceiling of power. The almighty ones who can reach the transcendent realm can be counted on one hand. Because of this, it was as if this group of people just appeared out of thin air, and then vanished into nothingness. I've been secretly investigating for years, but up until now, I haven't found a single clue. Plus, they were extremely purposeful. It was literally like they were just here for a massive free shopping spree. All the supplies of the Phantom Demon clan were completely looted by this faction. Hearing this, Yi Qingyan stroked her chin. What did your clan lose the most of? Was it food and medicinal herbs? Then it all makes perfect sense. No wonder in this secret realm, there are so many rare herbs growing here. Those are the ones I planted in the clan back in the day. But since you're here now, what's mine is yours from now on. You call the shots on everything in here. Faced with this sudden transfer of wealth, Yi Qingyan didn't hold back at all. The spiritual energy here is way more abundant than outside. It's an absolutely perfect natural farm. Since those mysterious guys are short on food, let's hit them with a massive counterattack. We'll plant radishes, soybeans, and all sorts of vegetable crops here on a massive scale. In your beast world, the only sweet thing you guys have is expensive honey. Ordinary people simply can't afford it. If I boil this sugarcane down into sugar, and pair it with the maltose I just got from grinding wheat into flour, we will absolutely monopolize the market. By then, we'll rake in mountains of gold coins with the sugar. Expanding our power rapidly won't be a problem at all. Watching Yi Qingyan beaming with excitement as she painted a picture of the future, Yi Wu's didn't know why. But a bright, undeniable glimmer of hope actually sprouted in his battered and broken heart. Seeing as you just woke up, you must be starving. When you're in a bad mood, good food is the one thing you can never let down. Today, I'm gonna show you what wontons are. Go wash up first. And leave the heavy lifting in the kitchen to me. Yi Wu's originally wanted to help out, but hearing this totally unheard of word, wontons, he knew he'd only get in the way. Feeling a rush of warmth in his chest, he obediently followed her instructions. Yi Qingyan turned around and dived straight into the kitchen. But right as she rolled up her sleeves, Dabao, who had followed her in, suddenly dropped an absolute bombshell. Yi Qingyan nearly choked to death on her own saliva. Even though your mother agreed, she still needs to build up some feelings with your uncle Yi first. We have to go through the motions, you know. How can we just turn off the lights and make babies right off the bat? Hearing this, Dabao nodded, seemingly understanding but not really. Anyway, Dabao likes little brothers and sisters. Dabao will share all the good stuff with them. Yi Qingyan rubbed Dabao's head and hurriedly changed the subject. While mixing dough with spiritual spring water, chopping cabbage, and mincing meat for the filling, she started telling Dabao fables. The dough flew through her nimble hands as smooth as flowing water, folding them into cute, perfectly round little wontons. Just then, a freshly washed up Yi Wu's happened to step into the kitchen. When his eyes landed on the never-before-seen wontons, his pupils shrank violently, and a massive storm of shock surged in his heart. In a daze, it was as if he was dragged right back to the Phantom Demon clan of the past. Back to the sacrificial shrine. Back then, when the high priest was performing divination, he had drawn several patterns that no one could decipher. And right at this very moment, Those mysterious patterns actually materialized right into the dough on Yi Qingyan's cutting board. Daddy Yi, smack. Yi Qingyan's hand trembled, nearly causing the juicy wonton she was holding to be squished into a hard lump of dough. She looked at her little cub in absolute shock. Good heavens, this little rascal changes faces faster than flipping a book. She actually figured it out all on her own, upgrading Uncle Yi straight to Daddy Yi. On the other hand, Yi Wu's originally tense expression instantly softened, melting like a gentle spring breeze. He quickly stepped forward, his eyes brimming with unconcealable joy. Such a good girl, Dabao. As a pure-blooded spiritual snow wolf beast, this child didn't just come with innate dual-element abilities, she also possessed ancestral inheritance. She was so smart it was practically unfair. Yi Wu's was thoroughly soaking up that sweet daddy. Dabao acutely sensed the lingering weakness in Yi Wu's body. Daddy Yi, mommy is making wontons right now. As long as you eat the food mommy makes, your body will get all better. Yi Wu's gently patted her head. Thank you, Dabao. Don't be afraid, my little one. Even though you have a top-tier spiritual body, once Daddy Yi recovers just a little bit more, I'll use a secret art to completely seal away your spiritual aura. When that time comes and our family goes out, you definitely won't be discovered by any bad guys. After comforting Dabao, Yi Wu's finally turned his gaze toward Yi Qingyan. Freshly washed, he had completely shed his previous bedraggled state. That breathtaking, striking handsomeness just hit her right in the face. Yi Qingyan hurriedly looked away. She let out a dry cough to cover up her sudden awkwardness. You're done washing up? Have a seat for a second. The wontons are about to go into the pot. This kind of food is called wontons? Yi Wu's voice carried a strange, heavy solemnity. He casually picked up a quill pen nearby and quickly sketched out 3 distinct shapes on the wooden board. Back in our tribe, when the high priest was performing divination, he drew exactly these 3 patterns. Later, when my father performed the blood sacrifice, he told me that I absolutely had to go to the 2 tribe to find you. He said that you would bring the beast world continent an abundance of food it has never seen before. My father's greatest wish in this life was just to see the beast world continent overflowing with plenty of food. Because only when everyone's belly is full, will the fighting and bloodshed finally decrease. The real reason our phantom tribe was targeted and tragically wiped out is most likely because we had mastered a method to store massive amounts of food for a very long time. Yi Qingyan leaned over to glance at the drawings on the board. Good heavens, your high priest is practically a crossover food blogger. These 3 things he drew are wontons, dumplings, and rice cakes. Let's have the wontons for breakfast first. We can eat the dumplings for dinner tonight, but as for the rice cakes, that'll have to wait until we actually find some rice. Hearing that food was so incredibly scarce in the beast world continent, capitalist radar inside Yi Qingyan's brain instantly started blaring. Since food is an absolute necessity here, this is 100% a wildly profitable industry. I might as well go set up a street food stall in the bustling cities of the central district. Once I save up enough cash, I'll buy out a massive shop and open a luxury, top-tier restaurant. Those royal elites and nobles absolutely love spending huge money to enjoy good food. Once I'm rich, I'll hire the most elite squad of beastmen mercenaries. By then, I can protect Dabao while dragging our enemies out and crushing them underfoot. Listening to this simple, brutal, yet highly practical food-based revenge plan, the dark clouds in Yi Wu's eyes completely vanished. Hiding in plain sight, using food to build up our wealth and power. Alright, I'll follow your lead. Right now, the most crucial thing is to lay low and get stronger. This hidden secret realm is the perfect safe zone for us beginners. As Yi Qingyan nimbly kneaded the dough and folded the wontons, she set the plan in stone. We're in no rush to leave just yet. Our top priority is to nurse ourselves back to full health. Once Yi Wu's gets his strength back, not only will he be able to protect Dabao, he can also cast a secret spell to hide Dabao's eye-catching spiritual aura. She wrapped the wontons at lightning speed, and before long, enough for the 3 of them was neatly lined up on the cutting board. Just as Yi Qingyan was about to start the fire to boil some water, Yi Wu's had already brought in some firewood from the yard, casually taking a seat right in front of the stove. I'll handle the fire. Watching his incredibly smooth and practiced movements, Yi Qingyan couldn't help but feel a bit puzzled. You used to be His Highness of the Phantom Demon Tribe, a proper heir to the throne. Didn't you have servants waiting on you hand and foot? Why are you doing this kind of grunt work yourself? You didn't actually think I just sat around doing nothing, did you? As a male beast, we have to learn all sorts of survival skills from a very young age. Otherwise, how would I ever be able to take good care of my partner? That clearly suggestive remark, paired with his deep, incredibly alluring voice, hit with the destructive force of an absolute bombshell. The water's boiling, time to drop the wontons in. Once they were just about done, she sprinkled in a handful of chopped green onions, swirled in a beautiful egg drop, and finally, drizzled the seasoning over the top. All done, let's eat. The three of them gathered around the table. Even though Dabao had just been born not too long ago, he was incredibly independent, absolutely refusing his mother's offer to spoon-feed him. He insisted on holding his little spoon and eating all by himself. Watching Dabao purse his tiny lips, blowing softly on the hot soup, Yi Qingyan couldn't help but smile at how adorable he was. Just being around this little guy could cure absolutely any mental exhaustion. Mommy, this smells so amazing. It's completely different from the food we used to have. These are called wheat noodles. Tomorrow, Mommy will make some dumplings for you guys to try. Now eat slowly. Don't burn your mouth. Seeing Dabao practically spinning with impatience, Yi Wu's quietly channeled a tiny sliver of spiritual energy. A gentle wave of power swept over the bowl right in front of Dabao. The boiling hot wonton soup instantly cooled down to the perfect temperature to eat. But doing so made Yi Wu's already weakened face turn a shade paler. Dabao sharply noticed that something was wrong, and immediately set his spoon down in distress. Dabao can wait for it to cool down on its own. Daddy Yi's health is way more important. Please don't use your powers like that anymore. It's alright. You're still growing. We can't have you going hungry. Go on, eat up. Yi Wu's heart melted completely, and he gently ruffled Dabao's fluffy little head. Dabao gave a sweet, obedient nod, scooped up a wonton, and stuffed it into his mouth. The very next second, his eyes went totally wide. This is so delicious. This is the absolute best food Dabao has ever eaten. With that said, he started inhaling his food like a vacuum, not even lifting his head. Slow down, there's plenty more in the pot. If it's not enough, Mommy will make some more. Yi Qingyan chuckled at him, then turned to look at Yi Wu's, who hadn't even touched his chopsticks yet. You should try some too. Eating something delicious will definitely put you in a better mood. Yi Wu's elegantly picked up his spoon. He scooped up a wonton and placed it into his mouth. In that very instant, his eyes widened in absolute disbelief. Yi Qingyan asked expectantly, "Well, is it good?" A gentle, radiant smile rippled through Yi Wu's eyes. It truly is the most exquisite flavor I have tasted in my entire life. It is wonderful. That breakfast was a delight for everyone, nourished by both the amazing food and the spiritual spring water. A bit of color finally returned to Yi Wu's pale face. Fully stuffed, little Dabao patted his round, bulging tummy, and excitedly rolled around on the bed a few times. Mommy, you said earlier that we were going to boil that thing called sugarcane to make sugar. Let's go chop some sugarcane tomorrow, okay? Alright, let's just do it right now. You haven't recovered from your severe injuries yet, so just rest at home. Dabao and I will be back in a flash. No. I am going with you. As soon as he said that, Yi Wu's threw on his cloak. Then, with practiced ease, he scooped little Dabao up into his arms. A sudden thought flashed through Yi Qingyan's mind. Don't tell me, you're afraid of the sunlight? During the war that wiped out my clan years ago, I was on the brink of death, and sealed away in an underground artifact. Although I finally saw the light of day a century later, it left me with a severe aversion to sunlight. Whenever I am exposed to the sun, my old wounds act up. You will get better. It doesn't matter, I got used to it a long time ago. As they chatted, the three of them arrived at the sugarcane field. So this is what makes sugarcane juice. Once we get out of this secret realm, we're going to make a fortune selling brown sugar. Yi Qingyan pointed at the sugarcane, her eyes gleaming with absolute capitalist greed. Just as Yi Wu's was about to nod, Dabao excitedly stretched out his little hand. With a faint flash of his powers, a loud, crisp crack echoed out. An entire row of sugarcane instantly snapped and hit the ground in unison. Yi Qingyan stared in pure shock. Oh my goodness, this little guy was the true powerhouse of their family. With the help of his superpowers, peeling the stalks, extracting the juice, and boiling the syrup were all done in one breath. Yi Qingyan ordered Yi Wu's to tend the fire for boiling the sugar, while she turned back to the kitchen to whip up some lunch. Kneading the dough, cutting the noodles, and stir-frying the meat toppings, her movements were as smooth as flowing water. Before long, a few steaming hot bowls of hand-pulled noodles were served on the table. Yi Wu's and Da Bao were once again completely blown away, staring in wide-eyed awe. In surprisingly perfect sync, the two of them furiously slurped up the noodles like a vacuum. They didn't even leave a single drop of broth behind. Mommy, these noodles are just way too delicious. They are good, but we can't eat them for every single meal. Mommy will make you guys something completely different tomorrow. Watching this heartwarming scene, Yi Wu's heart trembled slightly. In this beast world, female beasts rarely treat their cubs with such intimacy. As for him, he hadn't even been held by his mother since the day he was born. It wasn't until he met her that he finally understood just how warm a mother's love could be. That afternoon, the brown sugar was finally ready. Looking at the solid blocks of sugar, Yi Qingyan's money-making radar started beeping wildly again. The food culture in this beast world was so primitive. If she could just earn enough money by selling good food, she could build an elite mercenary army and do whatever she wanted on this continent. An idea sparked in her mind. Are there hawthorns in the mystic realm? You mean what we call red fruits? There are plenty of them deep inside the mystic realm. I can take you there if you need them. That's wonderful. With those red fruits, we can make candied haws. The cost is super low and the profit is huge. We won't even need to rent a storefront. We can just make a straw rack and sell them on the go. It will definitely be a best-selling snack. It's a good idea, but the lower-level beastmen at the market can barely afford to feed themselves. They probably wouldn't want to trade their supplies for snacks. Let's wait until we get to the busy streets of the central city. We can sell them exclusively to those wealthy noble beastmen. These candied haws will definitely make us a fortune. Once we're out of here, we can scope out the market first. Then we can head to the city to do some research. I've never actually been to a city before. She spoke casually, but he caught every single word. Yi Wu's eyes darkened slightly. The original owner of her body used to be a noble from the central imperial city. How could she have never been there? Combined with her completely different personality lately, and her endless new recipes, a bold suspicion gripped his heart. She wasn't the original Yi Qingyan. An unprecedented wave of panic instantly washed over him. He was terrified that she would vanish into thin air, just as suddenly as she had appeared. What's wrong? Why are you suddenly so pale? It's nothing. As long as I'm by your side, I won't feel tired. The two of them carried Da Bao to the ruined orchard, looking at the large stretch of dead trees that had been hacked down by thugs years ago. Yi Qingyan secretly made a vow. One day, she would use her wood element powers and magic spring water to bring these dead trees back to life. But for now, she just picked a full basket of the intact hawthorns, ready to head back and make candied haws. Once back at the wooden cabin, Yi Qingyan quickly whipped up some dumplings and finished making the candied haws. After dinner, the three of them sat out in the yard, enjoying the cool breeze. Wanting to break the silence, Yi Qingyan started telling Da Bao the story of the 7 fairies in Dongyang. But who would have thought that the part where the fairy returns to heaven after repaying her mortal debt would step right on Yi Wu's deepest fears? The atmosphere around him instantly dropped to freezing point. Da Bao fell asleep listening to the story. Yi Qingyan tucked him into bed, but when she stepped back into the yard, she could feel a strange, tense heat in the air. Just as she was about to make an excuse to slip away, Yi Wu saw right through her. Since I can't keep her here with reason, then I'll just have to play dirty. Why are you coughing up blood? I'm fine, it's just, I don't know why. But as long as you're by my side, Miss Yi, my chest doesn't hurt nearly as much.